Welcome back, true believers and all you merry Marvelites, to another very informative episode of Marvel's Avengers 101. So as expected, the Marvel's Avengers Twitter page is continuing this week with unveiling some brand new info relating to the Incredible Hulk. And just like with Captain America, where we received a small 30-second clip of new footage as well as a breakdown of his suit and heroic abilities, the same thing is exactly happening with Bruce Banner. So in my last video, where we previously went over the main combat abilities and main story elements that the Hulk is going to have within Marvel's Avengers, today we're actually going to be fully breaking down his heroic abilities that he can use within the game. Now, as a small recap, each individual hero within the Avengers project is going to come fully equipped with 3 separate special abilities. This can range from a support ability, which is basically a more defensive move, as well as an assault ability, which is much more of an offensive move. But of course, the major move that is tailored to each specific Avenger is in fact the ultimate ability, which is essentially one giant area of effect attack. So primarily for the case of the Incredible Hulk, his moves are surely no exception. And through the post of a very elongated thread on the Marvel's Avengers Twitter page, it states, "Let's start with Hulk's support heroic, Boneshaker. When Dr. Banner relinquishes control of the demon within, the result is the catastrophic Boneshaker ability. He repeatedly slams his fists into the ground to taunt all challengers. Hulk draws all nearby enemy attention and is overcome with inner rage that bolsters his defensive strength. Teammates who witness this show of aggression gain their own gameplay buff so they can jump into the fray and fight alongside their gamma-fueled companion." Now, I'm not entirely sure about this ability, but I do think we may have seen it in action during the A-Day gameplay, where Hulk is absolutely demolishing that one section of the Golden Gate Bridge. Hulk's support ability sounds a million times better compared to what we were described for Captain America. In the case of Steve Rogers, his support ability was essentially marking primary targets within the game, which will then increase the amount of gameplay buffs that the other characters that you play as will gain. But for the Hulk's case, it definitely sounds like he's actually dealing damage when this ability is activated, while also helping the other teammates in his vicinity. But once again, I really hope that these support abilities aren't just tailored to a co-op aspect of gameplay, but rather can actually be customized and upgraded once you start the progression system within the game's story. Because if anything, based off what we know so far, I'm going to try my best to actually change what the Captain America support ability is, while I'm going to upgrade what the Hulk support ability is, considering how powerful it sounds. But as we move on from the support section of these abilities, we now have what Hulk's assault ability actually entails. And as the Marvel's Avengers Twitter page states, Gamma Rush, Hulk's assault heroic, allows him to quickly smash his way through a group of enemies, using his Gamma Rush to become a human battering ram. To add insult to injury, Hulk will grab the first enemy encountered during the attack and slam him into the ground at the end of the charge, inflicting massive damage and staggering nearby opponents. So as you would come to expect within the Avengers Project's RPG element, Hulk is basically your tank class within the other roster of heroes. While Hulk may lack in the more tactical area of combat, he definitely makes up for it with massive strength and huge amounts of damage. So seeing that this move is basically going to be Hulk acting as a giant freight train, destroying everyone in his path, is going to be awesome to see be played out. And again, knowing that we can actually upgrade these heroic abilities down the line, I'm very curious to see what the final form of it is going to look like. And finally, moving on to the last ability that Hulk has, which we've actually seen in place during the A-Day gameplay, is obviously the massive ultimate move with that of the Thunderclap. But as the Marvel's Avengers Twitter page describes, how about Hulk's ultimate heroic? Enemies outside of his immediate reach may think they're safe, but they still have to contend with Hulk's most powerful attack, the Thunderclap. When Big Green smacks his hands together, it unleashes a shockwave of devastating concussive force. Anything caught in the blast is hurled backwards, flying through the air and clearing a path for Hulk to inflict even more damage to the next wave of combatants. And obviously, we've already seen this move in action during the Golden Gate Bridge sequence of Hulk's gameplay, which definitely looks like a huge amount of damage to be dealt on every single enemy in sight. So even at the surface level of all these abilities, I really do hope that the final version of them can be upgraded overall once we dive deep into the progression system. Plus, we also know that the gear pieces that Hulk can unlock will actually be able to increase his stats along with every other Avenger that you can play as within the game. So even though some of you may be thinking that these heroic abilities are a bit bare bones as of right now, I really do hope that that can change down the line. And while these descriptions are all well and good for actually knowing what the heroic abilities are going to be for Hulk, I really do hope that we actually receive some gameplay of them in action sooner rather than later. Although we'll just have to wait and see as to what they decide to reveal next. And with all that said, everyone, that's the video I have for you today, and please let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. What do you think about the Incredible Hulk's heroic abilities, and which one is your specific favorite? For me personally, I gotta go with the Thunderclap, because not only is that a classic Hulk move that we've seen time and time again, but I just love how it's actually going to be used within the Avengers Project's gameplay. And just seeing how cool that move looked during the A-Day gameplay, it makes me that much more curious to see how it's going to work within a co-op environment playing with with all your friends. But until that time comes, everyone, thank you all so much for watching. Stay merry, Marvelites, and peace out.
What? I see this as an absolute win.